Good morning and welcome to the last story of my book, Shamanic Journey, Crossing the Portal of 2020-2021. This is the last article in the book and the last article in the fourth-part series called The Success Kit for the New Consciousness for the New Human of 2021 and Beyond. This fourth article is called An Evolutionary Advantage. When Sir Francis Bacon wrote his famous saying, "Knowledge itself is power," I believe that he meant what is widely believed in our modern world, that one can achieve anything with the ability that comes from having a skill or an understanding. This in turn brings with it influence, status, and leadership. This is the physical, one would say, real meaning of the above phrase, but the non-physical, some would say real, and I would say energetic or spiritual meaning of this saying is that there is a hidden subconscious and mostly untapped knowledge. And this is for me the real power. We are truly entering a time of higher consciousness. The global pandemic really proved to us that we are all on the same boat. More of us are realizing that we are all one and the same, and that if we want to achieve a sustainable solution for the future, we have to put our knowledge together and create a new mindset, a new way of doing things. The past is where we come from. We now look at the present, decide what works or what no longer works, and it is our collective responsibility to change it in order to create a better future. Continue with this small series of articles on the Success Kit for the New Consciousness. Based on the Spanish astrologer José Millán's video, The New Humanity, and my diary's notes, I would like to bring up one of José's remarks. Respect will not be based on family lineage or financial status, but on being a human being. Up to now, in this fast modern world in which we live, one thing is clear. Money, greed, overuse of power, and destruction of our ecosystem is completely out of control. The old sages say that we are human beings, not human doings. And they describe that our mind, our strongest tool for success, is, as Sadhguru would say, overly active and excessively noisy. In fact, he says that our minds today can be compared to monkeys, always noisy and mimicking what they see. Well, if this is true, and I believe it is, then we are not being the creators we have the potential to be. So on the one hand, we have a huge reservoir of untapped knowledge and potential waiting for us to command it and engage in it. Many people are already finding ways to slow down our brainwaves in order to create from the silence of the mind the realities we want to see in the physical world. On the other hand, we live in unequal societies where the gap between the rich and the poor grows bigger and bigger, with the world riches in the pockets of a small percentage of individuals, while the masses live in chaos and poverty. José Millán describes in his astrological vision that the future societies will be smaller and will work in organizative units like the neurons in the brain. He thinks that the mega cities will tend to be fewer in number because people will be after quality of life, not quantity. People will want to live outside of the big cities, enjoy nature and natural living, and will form smaller communities that will have the luxury of a highly developed communication network and good transport facilities to the bigger cities. People in these new communities will work together at the same level of power. There will no longer be one single person in control, giving orders for everyone else to carry them, and amassing the majority of the benefits of an organization. Therefore, these societies will be more horizontal, not so vertical or hierarchical. Also, governments will cover people's basic needs with a global basic wage, or at least this is what José believes. And this will bring the issue of people needing to find a purpose outside of work. Many of us derive our self-worth from the work we do, or we identify our personal value from our position of power, status, or money received. The combination of these factors will definitely require a developed level of consciousness, exercising personal and social responsibility. We're accustomed to being told what to do by our bosses or the figures of authority. And even when we say that we hate it, It is not easy to cut the umbilical cord that has been feeding us for a long time in order to start finding our own purpose, our own real self-worth. Because let's be honest, we can see everywhere a great deal of people, young and old, lost in depression, addictions, and lack of general meaningful engagement in their own life. It is as if we had lost our north. For me, the answer to this existential void is to focus on the inside, not on the outside. That's to say, we construct our psyche individually, tap into the power of our personal gifts and our subconscious wisdom, and see how we can put these skills to work in a meaningful way. This is a proactive way of living, and it is not easy, but I believe it's the only sustainable one. Going inside to reveal our passion, our needs, and our interests is the real way to give expression to whom we already are. But this means that we need to discover who we are in the first place, what our purpose is, what our calling is, what we want to do with the life we have and the time we have been given in a meaningful way, a way of service, but not of servitude. I think that you will agree that the majority of people today could describe their lives as currently submissive to other people's power or organizations, cornered without choices and frustrated, disconnected from what we really would like to do. And although I believe that we actually create our external reality and that we are more powerful than we think, our perception of what the external world is can be either empowering or distracting. José says that the elites will shift from those with money to those with the knowledge of specifically scientific elites, genetic engineers, quantum physics. The areas that will bring the biggest shifts in the areas of healing, cheaper housing, nutrition, and anything else that can improve the quality of our lives. And while not all of us can be elite scientists or quantum physicists, all of us can expand our consciousness and evolve in order to fit into a more interactive, fair, and integrated society. This means implementing without procrastination and by tapping internally, beyond the shadow of a doubt, with whom we are, what we want, and how we want to contribute to the bigger global arena. For me, an expanded consciousness means a larger vision, freedom-oriented focus, integration of the self by releasing and integrating all patterns and shifting to new and better ones. A healthy level of self-discipline, building personal boundaries, developing an attitude of service, and a high level of compassion. This means no longer deeming everyone different from us as potential enemies. So what would a society working with an expanded consciousness look like in practical terms? And how is this an evolutionary advantage? I will attempt to answer these questions from my personal experience with a before and after my awakening over the years through my spiritual and energetic work. Number one, focusing on the moment. The mind is truly efficient at making us lose focus of where we are at. It continuously floods our attention with fears, pains, sorrow from the past, projects our limitations and anxieties into the future. We look at our past and we believe that the future can only be a continuation of what has been so far, when in fact, if we stay present in the given moment, and all the moments are given, then we can discover a different presence of mind with a different and broader viewpoint, one which can imbue an expanded vision of what can be true for us in the future. It can be difficult, some will even say impossible, to contain the energy of our mind chattering monkeys, to discipline the thoughts that overwhelm us, and to project our energy voluntarily onto the things that are actually important for us. And even when we get into the meditative practice, which do help, we may find that even with the extra advantage of silencing or quieting our mind to a certain degree, we still can't manifest what we really want. I have only recently come to the decision to look for love, where love is. For me, this is the choice that I have moment by moment, to either look at something in my reality from a point of lack, resentment, shame, or judgment, limit or negativity, or to look at it as a seed of a potential lesson, an expansion, one that is hidden behind all the events in our lives, big or small. And I find that when I get steady in this mind-heart balancing act, something always unravels to give me a gift or present, an alternative solution to something that I would not in a million years have deciphered by myself, with an alarmed, hurried, scattered, out-of-focus mind. This is obviously work in progress, as we can only get better and better at it as we practice centering ourselves. But the conclusion is that if we do not start taking responsibility for taming our energy, including soothing our nervous system, disciplining our mind, and accepting the present as a gift, instead of fighting it as if we were a punishment sent from above, we will be going round in circles and wasting our energy, time, money, and health, and wondering what is wrong with the world. Number 2, focusing on one thing with the exclusion of everything else. I know that this may seem an impossible thought when our external reality calls for our attention from a myriad of different areas at once on a regular basis. The result is that we are disoriented, forgetful, disorganized, erratic, unfocused, and unfulfilled. It takes a strong will to back off from a society that has brought us up, but also swallowed us. We are taught responsibility, meaning to please others in detriment of ourselves. And we feel guilty and remorseful when we try to look after ourselves first. We have to understand that we can't really benefit anyone else when we are broken into pieces with a disintegrated consciousness, and that unless we gather ourselves, literally and energetically, we fool ourselves when we say, I'm doing a job, I am a parent, I am a friend. Well, technically we are, but we are not. We may have children, but if we are not energetically present, we are not really parenting them. Or we may have a good friend, but if when they tell us about their issues, we are thinking about something else, or about our own worries, we are not really being there for them. In fact, we can't be there for anyone else if we have not met our own needs first. It may sound selfish, but it's really a survival tool, one that maintains our integrity intact, that is, as integrated human beings. And then, and only then, can we be of service to others when we are honest with our limitations and our needs. By focusing on one thing at a time, I have achieved more than I used to, and in a more holistic way. Of course, there will be moments when this is not possible. Then if something else calls for your attention, it is better to leave what you were doing and focus completely on this new other thing, then come back to your original activity when this one has been dealt with. The result is the satisfaction of achieving your tasks at a standard that you're happy with, and the feeling that you can move on because you have ticked off something of your to-do list, leaving no loose ends. By releasing control and flowing from our higher mind, we gain control. Number 3, tuning into my feeling center as I do my tasks. Rather than doing the things from my to-do list as an automaton, going through the motions without really diving into the experience, which is the only way to extract the knowledge and learning that the experience has for us, I have now got into the habit of being continuously aware of how each activity makes me feel. It is not an extra job. It is something that I do in a parallel fashion, as if I had one foot on the 3rd dimensional world while the other one is in the 5th dimensional world of intuition. I don't do an activity just because someone wants me to do it or expects me to do it. Instead, I tune into my feeling center, and if it feels right, I do it in my own way and with my own standards. When you sense that someone wants something from you via means of manipulation, you can take charge and decide to carry out the activity in a more holistic, organic, or efficient way if you do it for the right reasons and in a way that honors you. It is only in this way that you can truly honor another. Number 4, I stay focused on joy. If I need to do something that I don't particularly want to do, I tune into the possible benefit that this task will deliver to me or the positive reason why I should do it. I do this quite fast because I have trained myself to focus on joy, and it is then that I can do it with good intent. If I truly can't get into it, I either choose to do something else that I feel positive about and come back later when I am in a better feeling place. This means that my day feels like a succession of good feeling activities and that I am on track on the larger and general purpose of my life, Some days feel productive, and some slightly wasted. But I know that the following morning I will reset the clock and I will start again from a clean slate with a new opportunity to redirect and redefine what I do and how I do it. As I stop judging my moments and accepting something about every step that I give, coming to terms with it or aligning with it, I patiently build a foundation that feels solid and liberating, leading me there, wherever there may be, a soft and flexible target. I have been around long enough to know that I can't impose my will on the universe. I can only flow with it. But at the same time, my ego no longer has power over me by manipulating me to do things for historical reasons, emotional guilt, external expectations from others. I'd rather discover nudges of wisdom as I go, weaving them into the tapestry of my life, creating a reality that I can identify with and that represents the new me at all stages in my path, regular micro changes. And if I find that something does no longer fit, I let it go as soon as I identify it. I engage proactively with the process of mourning and releasing, giving myself time to do this organically so that my body can integrate the old lesson, shift my energies and get ready for new understandings. I do this without attachment or judgment because I know that ultimately letting go of the old, and the old can be something from 5 minutes ago to 30 years ago, is in my benefit and advantage. Number 5, I lead myself. I don't get led. I lead myself via my internal guidance. When people want to bombard me with external marketing, I easily discard it because the external reality can't pull you where you don't have an emotional need, a wish, or a want. And when you have simplified your psyche, the clever marketing campaigns can hook you into needing something that you don't. Because you see beyond the illusion of reality, you are centered and detached. Anything that will be of benefit to me will be expressed itself from the inside out. I don't pay attention to money markets or fluctuations, unless there is that specific calling that tells me that I need to pay attention or get involved. This means that the information that I need will be placed itself in my field of awareness when I need it, if I need it, and when the moment is right. It is in that instance, when I get called or ignited or inspired, that I leave everything else and focus on this new thing. Then I go back to whatever I was doing. In this way, I weave my inner world within the external reality, creating it in an empowered manner. At the same time, I no longer follow writers or authors unless it is to pick up some tips on a subject of my interest. I used to read books from front to back several times, taking notes and summarizing them in my computer, underlining the text, writing notes, spending anything between 1 month to several years in one single book. It was fantastic. I loved it. I learned so much. But today I don't have that kind of time. And the energies are moving so much faster. So I read articles from the internet, or I browse through a book in a way that I briefly get the gist. And as I weave filling with knowledge, my own energy and previously existing data, it allows me to download intuitively everything I need on a daily basis. And what I don't know, I find in the internet. But I find it in paragraphs, sentences, or short articles. The result is that I may not know the full details in the daily news shown on the TV, but I am very knowledgeable about what's going on in my own mind, body, and feeling center. From there, I write my books, articles, inspirational posts, and I put my realizations into words. This way, I express what I feel, and I know that at this given moment, leaving a trail of thoughts, others may pick them up if they resonate with them. Either way, self-expression is a human need, and I have finally found my medium, my vehicle. This is the highest contribution I can give to humanity, something that comes naturally after years of practice, and that flows effortlessly from the universal consciousness, intertwined with my mind, and projected with my special colors. I truly think that this is the way, that it was meant to be, and that each one of us has a gift to share, special wisdom to project and give out in order to create a better humanity together. Thank you so much. This is the end of the book. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, contact me either my email address or in the text box. And see you next time. Thank you for listening. Bye.